everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this balmy Thursday, February 18th, 2021. I'm Jeremy Crosby. Hope you had a wonderful day and enjoyed those nice temperatures outside. It's kind of pleasant to be outside now instead of going outside and being hit with the shock of just downright frigid temperatures. Yeah, we got warm temperatures in the forecast. So excited for that. We'll set that off to the side because we have a very busy show coming up here for you on Talking Fitchburg. We got video coming in from all over the place today. First, we're going to take you out to some hydrant clearing coming up here in the headlines. A gentleman named Chad has taken upon himself to clean out just a few fire hydrants in record time. We'll show you that story here in just a second. Plus, it's an all-fire day. I mean, we're talking about fire hydrant cleaning. We're also going to talk about hazmat training. The Fitchburg Fire Department participating in some hazmat training. We want to bring that story back to you in case you missed it. And we'll also be checking in with Adam Dorn from the Fitchburg Fire Department as well, as he talks about cancer prevention in firefighters. We had a really great talk last month with a former firefighter of Chicago Fire Department. But Adam and I will talk about how that those effects here in Fitchburg work as far as prevention goes with our firefighters from Fitchburg Fire Department. So a lot to get to here on the show, and we will kick it off with those headlines. And we start with the public information meeting. This is road improvements on Sain Road from McCoy Road to Aurora Avenue. This meeting is slated to be on February 25th at 6:30 p.m. Just like the last time, this is also a online, or you can come in person. We, of course, would love to see you come online for this meeting. If you want to do or be part of the in-person participation, they'll be at City Hall, 5520 Lacey Road. Hydrant clearing video. This is awesome. Get ready, because this gentleman named Chad drops the mower, adds the blower, and starts clearing those fire hydrants in record time. Check it out. He is he's awesome at this. Okay, so maybe you can't say he's cheating, but he's got that John Deere. You can tell that classic green and yellow. Yeah, he cleans out 14 fire hydrants throughout his neighborhood, and he does this in 2.5 minutes. Okay, so maybe there was some dockage to this video, like, maybe a little bit of editing. But either way, great job clearing that 3 to 5 foot radius around the fire hydrant. So important. And we're so glad that he was able to help out the neighbors. And remember, I mean, you can access those to get those fires out. All right, vaccinations in Dane County. We got an update for you. Those continue to climb. That's right. According to this, more than 50% of our population has at least one dose of the vaccine. This is awesome. And current eligibility is available at the Public Health of Madison and Dane County's website. And you can go there to get the information. But that's the numbers as it stands of the 16th. All right, today is National Battery Day, as my father-in-law would say, National Battery Day. And speaking of batteries, you don't have to wait for a time change to make sure the batteries in your carbon monoxide and smoke alarms are working. Why is this coming up? Well, I think as you see, the cold weather has affected folks down in Texas. There's been a lot of carbon monoxide poisonings, and I even read of another story where a firefighter even overcome by carbon monoxide. So it's an important thing to talk about. So replace those batteries if you need to do so. And you can learn more about carbon monoxide at Department of Health Services, Wisconsin, and get you that informational. National Battery Day. His mom always said it that way too. So that's all I'm saying. All right, we'll take a quick break. Coming up next, we open up our guest and digest segment with Fire Department. First, we're going to talk about the training that went on with hazmat, plus the cancer prevention for firefighters. Next, we're here on TF.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg in the digest. And today we're going to take a look back at some hazmat training that took place here at the Fitchburg Fire Department.
So remember, job is to recon it. They're not 100% sure about workers. Okay, so we're going to recon it, and then you're going to mark your warm zone at 0.5 and then your hot zone at 10. If you can do an immediate fix the problem, and then just report back. Okay.
We're finishing up our last day working on 40 hours of training for hazardous materials response. Specifically, we're training these folks to the technician level, which will allow them to enter what we would call the hot zone, or where a release is occurring, and mitigate the problem. Definitely a book component to the training to build a base of knowledge for the students. But also a very important part of the hands-on training. When the students leave the classroom, we want them to feel comfortable that they could operate at an actual hazardous materials incident. It can be a little overwhelming. It's a labor-intensive physical job, but at the same time, you need to have a good head on your shoulder, so you're looking around and processing the information that's being presented to you, and be able to take the appropriate action. We've brought chemical protective clothing that we work with the first day and get students comfortable wearing that. We bring air monitoring equipment with, so the students can use that to gather information that would help them protect the public, and also let them know when they've crossed a line where their protective equipment will not work for them any longer and they need to exit the area.
Okay, your meter says 0.5. What? Your meter says 0.5. Meter says 0.5? Yep.
We have simulators that will allow us to show the students different liquid and gas leaks, and we work on solutions to stop those leaks or those spills.
I think there's a number of reasons why we want to do training like this. I mean, we can talk about the didactic, we can talk about book learning, classroom learning, but until you actually apply these skills, some of those values, those concepts, are really not seated. So in order to actually get into the suits, identify the problems that you are likely to see when you actually respond, it's going to give us a better outcome from a training perspective. So it was important to bring people in that not only had the requisite knowledge, but it was also important to be able to have the equipment that they would likely see on this scene. I think another important thing to note is, although we might not have all of this equipment in the city of Fitchburg, it's important for us to know what the next steps are. So there's a couple of different layers as far as hazmat response goes: the awareness, the operational, and the technical. Right now they're going through technician level training, and not all departments are equipped to handle that training, but it's important for us to know what that application actually looks like, so that if we need it, we know who to call, and we can be of better assistance to those resources that come into our city.
All right, you're at 2 parts per million. 2.
All right, going right back.
pH paper is turning red. You are getting hits.
Coming down. Feels like there's something behind the door. Take a look.
We simulated a chlorine release in a well house, a water well house. with a person that was overcome by chemical fumes that they didn't know about heading into the incident. And they found the person and then had to react and redirect their resources to take care of that person and bring them to safety and get them medical care. All the while knowing that there still was an active chemical release going on inside that building that they would have to go back in and eventually take care of. Chemicals are prevalent all over the state of Wisconsin and really our country. And they're transported on the highway, over water and by rail. And unfortunately, every once in a while accidents will happen and we need to be prepared to respond. Some of the common chemicals that fire departments will be put up against will be carbon monoxide, propane, ammonia, and chlorine, and then your things like gasoline and diesel fuel.
I think the important thing to note from a response standpoint is regardless of the emergency, we are going to be there. If somebody's having a bad day, they dial 911, we are going to be there. We have to have some assembly of a response. So it may not be the overall need for the incident in order to bring it to conclusion, but we can at least then start the incident and do it in a way that makes sense so that additional resources that are coming in don't have to redo what we've started. So it's important to start from that awareness, operational and technical level, follow it in that order, and to identify where those resources are coming from and how much of a response liability you have locally. And that is primarily what we're trying to do right now, is give us enough skill to be able to respond to anything that we come in contact with, and to identify what those next steps are so that we can hopefully bring the incident to a positive conclusion.
Yeah, the state has a tiered response system for hazardous materials. It starts at the local level with firefighters here in Fitchburg that go through training and are prepared to work at incidents. And as the incidents go beyond their resources or capabilities, they're able to work their way up to a tiered system to get to a larger fire department like Madison that can come and provide assistance.
Here's the thing, is when you train on something, you're more likely to see those things where they can be applied. So without training, sometimes you respond, you do things that ultimately get you by. What we're doing right now is we're allowing our firefighters to see what the actual application looks like, so that they're not just getting by, they're actually doing it in a way that is safer and in a way that makes the most sense to any other resources that are coming into the city. So, as far as the risk, we've done a risk assessment in this city. It's something that we continually do and something that I'm trying to improve our process on. But with development comes a number of different things. Development not only brings the potential of hazmat, you could have one ruptured gas line and now you're dealing with a hazmat incident. But we're also dealing with things like trench rescue, collapse rescue. We've had new construction in this city that has collapsed during the construction, because the two most vulnerable points of development and construction or a building's lifespan is when the building is being constructed and when it's being demolished. And we're seeing that all the time in the city of Fitchburg. Not to mention trench. Anytime you dig a lateral, a water lateral, a gas lateral to a building, you're creating a trench. And we're seeing more and more where workers are actually working within a shore box or those types of things. It's not uncommon for somebody to make a mistake, work outside their shore box, and now they've got a collapse of the trench. Those are things that we need to be ready for. So everything that we're doing, are we an all-inclusive department? I think what we are is we're an all hazards department that should know where our resources are, and then we need to work with our neighboring communities so that we have a regional response so that it doesn't overwhelm any one municipality. And I think that's a good explanation of what we're trying to do here and with our technical rescue training. So what makes a good firefighter, regardless of municipality, is one who is constantly learning their trade. That really goes for any occupation, but in firefighting, if you don't learn your trade, you could become seriously injured or worse. So what I'm trying to do is to identify exactly how important regular training is. And we've got a good group in the city of Fitchburg. I don't necessarily have to do a whole lot as the fire chief. We have people who are conscientious of the fact that regular training makes a better firefighter. A firefighter that is looking for answers instead of problems, or at least answers to the problems that we have. Those are the types of firefighters that any fire department would be happy to have. So we're fortunate. We've got a good group here, a number of people who volunteered for this training, people who haven't had it in the past, and we're trying to take those that have actually volunteered for this training or are moving forward with this training to challenge the things that we're doing locally right now to make sure that we do have the best response, and if needed, what we need to change our response to address the changing environment that is consistent in emergency services.
Yeah, my message to the students that when we end that this is a beginning, it's not an end. There's all kinds of different chemicals that are out there, and all different types of protective equipment that we're going to be using. You have to continue to learn something new every day and work to perfect your craft, so when you arrive on the scene of an incident, you have skill.
The city of Fitchburg is a growing community. As it grows, services are obviously needed. We're fortunate enough to have a department that works with other city departments to make things happen, and we need to be aware of how a growing municipality impacts how we deliver our service and what is needed. So I'm grateful to be in a growing community, but at the same time, it presents its own set of challenges in order to keep up with the overall need and the overall vision for the fire department and for the city of Fitchburg.
There you have it. You can check out that video online through our website or social media. Take a quick break. Coming up next, checking with Adam Dorn, Fitchburg Fire Department, and talking about cancer prevention in firefighters next year on TF.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Fitchburg Fire Department, it's Adam Dorn. Dorn, welcome back to the show, and Happy New Year.
Thanks, Jeremy. Happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you. Today we're talking kind of a serious topic here. Not that any of the topics aren't serious that we discuss, but this one will hit a little bit closer to home here. We're going to be talking about cancer prevention or awareness in firefighters, and it's a pretty hot button topic. Maybe it was the last I don't know, 5 to 10 years, it seems like we finally have gotten some awareness out there, and you're hearing more and more about this and the risks of that. There's no doubt that going into a fire has many different toxins, and especially today with the way homes are manufactured and whatnot. cars and everything else in between. But to set this all up, Adam, where are the risks coming for getting cancer if you are a firefighter?
Yeah, so cancer is the most dangerous, under-recognized threat for the health and safety of our firefighters. It's actually the #1 cause of firefighter line of duty deaths. That means people that are firefighters die because they have cancer, and it's presumed, at least in the state of Wisconsin, it's presumed that they contracted the cancer while on duty if they are a firefighter and they're working full time. There are other aspects when it comes to volunteer and this, that, and the other thing that also play into that. But those that are hired full time, that's the #1 leading cause of our deaths. And as you said, in the last 5-10 years or so, it's really come to a forefront of the research that we found out and how we contract it and stuff like that. So if you think back 20 years doesn't seem long enough now, at least for me, but you think back 30-40 years, you'd see the firefighters coming out and they'd have soot all over their helmet and their gloves, their face would be black. And it was kind of a cool thing to look all dirty and whatnot. But what we didn't realize at the time is that that's one of the main ways that we ended up contracting cancer as firefighters, is because your skin absorbs stuff, right? And all that soot that gets on your face. If we don't clear it off of our face, wash it off, wipe it off soon enough, it starts to absorb. So we've really been trying to make sure that we protect ourselves from cancer. And there's some really easy steps that the International Association of Firefighters has recommended that we put in place to limit or prevent us from getting cancer.
Yeah, and you guys definitely, I know this from working with you all these years. I know that in the department, you take a lot of steps for making sure that your turnout gear is not only so if you respond to a fire, for instance, you've got some equipment on the truck that you can use to get those carcinogens off of your turnout gear. When you get back to the station, there's a thing. Even getting into the in and out, there's a whole bunch of things. Walk us through some of those prevention things that are happening here in the fire department.
Yeah. So when we're at a fire, one of the biggest changes that you've probably seen if you've been around long enough, that when we're at a fire, we wear our air packs or our face pieces until not just the fire is out. That's what it used to be. Once the fire was out, we take our face piece off, all the bad smoke was gone, and then we go back in and pull down ceiling and do all this other stuff, do all the overhaul. But what we didn't realize is that all of that stuff that was in the room that was on fire is actually still off-gassing. It's still producing toxins. And by taking off our face pieces so early, we would be breathing that in. So now, and this has been a change probably the last 20 years for sure. We wear our face pieces until we're done with overhaul, so we're not breathing in all the junk in the air. And actually, we try to keep our hands away from our face. We try to keep our faces as clean, our necks as clean as possible, with no soot, that kind of stuff. And then once we're out of the building and we're done with our tasks, before we do anything else, we try to clean ourselves off. We do what's called a gross decon, where we have a brush and we brush everything off of us that we can, that's byproducts of the fire. So it might be particles from the wood, it might be ash or soot, whatever it is. And that's off of our equipment, our helmet, our gloves, our jackets, our air packs, our face pieces. And while we do that, we're still wearing our face pieces, so we're breathing good air. After that, if we don't get all of it off, we go to a wet decon and we actually spray it off of our turnout gear and our equipment. And then after that, our goal is to make sure that we put that gear in a big garbage bag and we tie it up and we put it in the truck, and it's not put in the cab with us. And we try to keep our dirty turnout gear out of the cabs. And then once we get back to the station, we have to pull everything apart. We wash our gear. Then we actually have to take a shower. And then after that, we try to, if we have other gear that we can wear, we put that gear into service. And that's kind of our process that we use for that. Does it happen every single time? I can tell you that it doesn't, but from where we are today to where we were 10 years ago or even 20 years ago, we've made huge strides.
Yeah, that's you know, I think you don't really think of that after, you know, you look at it as the fire department shows up, extinguishes the fire, and then goes right back into service, and that's just not the case necessarily on that front. Turning back here then to some of this, and as I've been reading through some of the facts here that you shared with me, the risk, and I will share this with you too, I see the risk is not only related to respiratory, digestive, urinary, it's a toxin. I said once it's in the body, it's yikes.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it doesn't happen right away, right? It's not something that, oh, I got exposed today and tomorrow I have it. It's going to be over a course of time. And that's where it's so important for us that when we're done at a fire, we have baby wipes on our trucks that we can wipe off our hands and our faces and our necks and get the areas where we sweat the most and the pores are opening up where it would be absorbed. And we go back to the station, we shower. And it's not just that, it's also some of the exhaust from our trucks with the diesel exhaust that can also add to that. But one of the big things we promote to our membership is to make sure that we get our annual physicals, make sure that we get checked for cancer, even though, yeah, the guy might be 25-year-old, healthy, never had anything wrong, still get checked for cancer. You never know. You're in a situation where you're exposed to bad stuff, and who knows when it's going to happen.
Absolutely. Well, we'll leave it there. We're actually going to talk more about this down the road this year, which I'm very excited for. I don't want to say anything yet, but you've got some plans in the works. Very excited to share some more information on this. But thank you for opening the door on this one and sharing with us. And we, again, as always, I say this every show, you know, to stay safe out there and protect yourself. And, you know, thank you for what you're doing, because, yeah, the risks definitely increase, not just because of the nature of the job, but just everything surrounding it as well. So, Doran, thank you as always. We'll catch up with you real soon.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy.
You bet. Adam Doran, Fitchburg Fire Department, helping us out with fire safety tips. He'll be here all year long, unless he's not. Hard to say. All right, we'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
So how was work?
It was 1,300 hours. My math class from 302 was in the trenches. Davy Roth had it the worst. Fractions were coming at him left and right. He just didn't get the damn things.
2 days ago, I tried to teach him what 1/4 of 1/2 was using different sizes of blocks.
Yesterday, I tried again by dividing up pizza. Both missions failed.
Oh no.
But today, I was ready. I created a combat math game where the only way to beat the enemy is to out-fraction them. Davy conquered every last denominator.
My game was so successful, the principal is deploying it to math squadrons all over the school.
Anywho, how was your day?
Oh, today my boss treated the office to salad wraps.
Salad wraps.
I know.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for the day. Remember that you can follow us back TV, fast, free, easy, and so much more. Thank you to Adam Doran and the Fitchburg Fire Department for helping us out, sharing some great information today. Have a great day.